Hello everybody, Crusher Callan here, and today I'm playing Ark Aberration, and in this episode I am going to be showing you guys probably the easiest method I've come across to tame a basilisk. So, if you didn't already know, a basilisk is one of the hardest to tame but biggest and most powerful dinos in Aberration, which has many uses, but it is quite hard to tame, and that is exactly why I've come up with this video for you. So this was a video I recorded a little while ago of me actually taming it, and so I'm speaking over it after this was actually done, so I can talk about things that I suggest you do when you actually try this. So this method is quite successful, but there are a few things that I do want to show you that will help you tame your basilisks with the most efficiency. So I went looking around on the map Aberration, and they're quite tough to find, so it can take you quite a bit of looking around, and I found a level 125. And so what you want to do once you've got your level 125 is actually, before I go into what you got to do, is I'll go through what you actually need. So the first thing, you're going to need some hazmat, because they do spit at you and it damages you much like a poison wyvern. So you will need a full set of hazmat. I suggest you bring a spare set, just so that if yours breaks, because the spit does damage it quite a bit, you've got a spare. So hazmat is like definitely required. Without it you'll die, and you'll probably lose whatever dino you're on. The second thing is I suggest you have a Drake, if you're going to do it exactly the way I do it. But I do know that Ravagers and Megalos both work the same way. But Drake is probably not the easiest, or it's probably the easiest, but not the most effective. So you'll need a Drake, hazmat. You'll also need Drake eggs, which you'll get from the Drake Trench. You'll need at least 5 for a 150. I think I reckon it was at least 6 for a 150 on 2 times. So you'll need a lot of Drake eggs, but just take low level ones. Don't use high level ones, because the level doesn't really impact on, or it doesn't impact on it. So just take low level ones, and use them for the basilisk. So you'll need Drake eggs, and you'll also need a few extra things that I didn't actually use in this video, but I highly recommend you take. And the first is med brews. So if you get hit, you can heal up really quickly. It's extremely important, and definitely something that I really suggest you have. Probably the second is stimulants, or at least stimberries, because this guy's both bite and spit attack. They both do torpidity damage, and it's 3 times the damage of the basilisk. So you'll be taking more torpor than you will be taking damage. So I definitely suggest you take stimulants, or at least stimberries, because these things will knock you out if they're a high level within 1 bite. So you will need stimulants, and it's a big mistake that I didn't take them in this video. It is possible without, but much easier with. So I really suggest you guys bring stimulants. Another thing is energy brews. That's energy brews I didn't actually use in this, but they actually make it so your taming effectiveness comes out a lot higher. Because as you can see, what I'm doing right now is I'm leading the basilisk around the eggs to try and get it to eat it. But as you see there, it burrows underground. Now, that's why being on foot, on a Ravager, on a Megalo is a lot more effective, because it doesn't actually burrow underground. Because essentially, every time it burrows underground, you're losing effectiveness. That changes the levels. So you want to be either on foot or on a Ravager or a Megalo. And so if you plan on doing it on foot, like I tried to do, energy brews is extremely important, just because it makes it so your stamina regenerates really fast, and I think you lose less. So it's really important, just so you can continue to run, because once you run out of stamina, these things will catch up with you unless you made a lot of distance. But even then, if you made distance, it'll probably burrow and you'll lose effectiveness. So I really suggest that you take energy brews if you plan on doing it on foot. Other than that, probably a Megalo or Ravager. So yeah, that's all you need for the process. But what you actually need to do. So It's pretty simple. You just place your eggs down out of your inventory. You can't actually be on a dino, otherwise they won't actually eat them. So you need to be on the ground, off of your mount, and chucking them down from your own inventory. Be sure not to eat them, because that probably wouldn't go too well. But yeah, so make sure that you drop them, and just have them all in a big pile, is what I suggest you do. And then just, you either use your Drake, or go on foot, which is what I recommend, and just run around the eggs. And so the basilisk will take a little while to eat them. So you just gotta run around and try and lead it around the place, just so that you can get its attention to get it to eat the eggs. Because if you don't have its attention, then it won't eat them. It'll burrow and you'll lose effectiveness. So, yeah, basically you just gotta run around to keep it distracted, and when it's ready, it'll eat eggs. So as you can see here, I ran out of stamina and I got hit twice and ended up dying from it. So you really need to be careful if you're doing it on foot. But yeah, so Drake doesn't really work because you lead it around and it burrows. So, yeah, Ravagers and Megalos are really good, just because you can continue to run without losing much stamina. And if you've got a good health, you can keep running without them burrowing, which really affects how high level it will be after tame. So, although what I did here worked, it's not the most effective and not really what I suggest you do. Just do it on foot or on a low level, or not low level, but like easy to get tame. It'll be a lot easier. But yeah, so you can see I went up to check it while I was on my Drake to see what its taming effectiveness was at, and it was at about 94%, so that was one bite off. So now I'm trying to lead it around to eat another egg. Also, something else that's extremely important you must have is your dinos on passive for first, otherwise your dinos will attack the basilisk and really stuff up its effectiveness. And the second is you need to clear out all the dinos in the area, because this thing loses aggro really easily, which can lead to it burrowing, which is really fatal. So you need to kill every other dino in the area, like in a large area as well, if you want to be successful with this. Otherwise it will just keep de-aggroing and you just won't have any luck. It's not going to work if you don't kill everything in the area. So if you don't clear it out, you're not gonna be able to do it. It'll just lose aggro and you'll just have too much of a trouble getting it. As you can see here, I really stuffed up, and so the basilisk, I took a bit of a wide turn with the Drake, and the basilisk fell all the way down, which really stuffed my taming up, because as you can see here, I go down with the Drake, find out he's all the way at the very bottom of the map, attacking just about every dino in the area. So, like I said earlier, that's a big problem. You lose aggro, you don't get to feed it, you don't get to tame it. So, this was when I really felt like I wasn't going to be able to do it, because it was getting attacked by everything, and really lost a lot of its effectiveness, and so it's a big issue, and I couldn't really help it because I was on a Drake, but that's another point where just going on smaller dinos is a lot easier. You can just, maneuver them around enough to keep the Drake off of you, or the basilisk off of you, and you can still, keep them interested. So it was a big mistake using the Drake here, and I've learnt my lesson, either to go on foot or a Ravager. And yeah, so as you can see, it's running around attacking everything. I'm just trying to kill everything in the area. It only really aggroes on herbivores, so, but I like to take out carnivores just for a precaution. And so, as you can see, there he is attacking the roll rat. His taming's going down because he's being damaged. His effectiveness is really low by now, just because of how much he's been attacked and how much he's just burrowed. And so right now I'm just kind of waiting. I'm trying to see if he will re-aggro while I'm on the Drake, but he's not interested. So I decided to come around here, hop off, and get his aggro, which has just happened then. And now I bring him around, and I managed to tame him. So it was very lucky that I tamed it. Very fidgety, very hard to do. But that's why I put this video together, to give you tips so that when you do this, you're more successful than I was. So, as you can see here, he turned out level 144, which is not as good as he could have been. He was a 125 with Drake eggs, and he was meant to be a 185. So I really stuffed up in letting him de-aggro. But I learnt my lesson, and that's to use a smaller dino that it can always be aggroed on, and to keep the full area clear. And yeah, so I'm just going to keep going here, and you get to see his stats. So this is a 145. I can't really show you base stats, but this is just to give you an idea of the sort of stats they come out with. So he ended up with 7k health, 1.8k stam, 3k weight. So if you didn't already know, the Basilisk has the highest base weight in the game other than the Titanosaur, I'm pretty sure. So that's really important. And 208 melee damage. So the Basilisk is a great tame, but if you do it properly, and don't kind of stuff it up like I did, you'll get a really good tame. So currently this guy's about level 180, so we've leveled him up quite a bit, and he's an absolute beast. So I suggest with your Basilisk you level up health, and if it's like ours, get it to 10k. I feel like 10k is a good number for most carnivorous dinos, because they can last quite a few hits and not take so much damage. But if you're planning on a full battle one, I'd go higher than that. And so just health and damage, because the stamina is really high and the weight's really good. But if you plan on using it as a carrier, which I definitely suggest you do, I suggest you have a few battled basilisks and like a weight or two one. I definitely suggest you just pump weight, because again, stamina is really high. But yeah, so his health and his damage is great. They're really good meat runners. They've got a lot of weight, so they can hold as much meat. They can get slot capped without being weighed down at all. And they're very useful. They can burrow underground while you're riding them by pressing space, and so you can basically avoid all threats in the area when you're underground. You can't be hit whatsoever. If you use right click, they use a gas attack, which knocks things out and just does high damage, much like the poison wyvern. And yeah, they've got a really fast rate of fire sort of thing. They can shoot really quickly, and their bite is, I'm pretty sure, one of the fastest in the game. They attack really quickly with their left click. So they're an extremely good mount. They're really useful in PvP. They're great artillery. With health and damage pumped, just health and damage, you can get really good ones, and that can change the tide of a battle. So they're extremely useful. I suggest you get one. Just make sure that if you do try and get one, that you take a Ravager or a Megalo, or if you're doing it on foot, energy brews and stimulants, and keep the area clear. Drop the Drake eggs, just run around, and you'll be fine. So yeah, I hope this video helped. I hope that if you do find a Basilisk like mine, that it'll turn out a lot better just with the tips and the commentary that I've given. But yeah, so I hope you guys understand what's going on, and that this video was helpful to you. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please do leave a like, and if you've got any feedback, put it in the comment section down below, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!